Hello, hey, it's me, Marshall, from the Worst Ever podcast, which you're listening to right now. I just wanted to give a little disclaimer here. So, this episode was recorded in my parents' basement, not in my usual recording studio. So, it's not. The audio quality isn't fantastic. I've done the best that I can, getting it all cleaned up and everything. And also, Riley and I were sitting in bungee chairs, so the slightest movement also made those make a little bit of noise. So just I'm sorry. Welcome, ladies and gents, to the Worst Ever podcast. A fitting name for our set this week. Riley, you're on the Worst Ever podcast.
I am the worst ever.
Don't say that about yourself. But welcome.
Thank you, Marshall, for having me.
Riley, you have been briefed on the situation. What's the worst movie that you've ever seen?
I wouldn't call it the worst movie I've ever seen. It's my favorite worst movie I've ever seen.
That works though. It can be the worst, like as in your enjoyment, or the worst as in like
oh, it's
just
the
technically
worst.
It's the worst. yeah,
It's the worst, but I love it. It's a little movie called Birdemic Shock and Terror.
Riley, give us a brief plot summary
Plot summary
of Birdemic. Try to.
I'll give you a summary of it. I'll grasp at what plot there is and give you a summary of it. Okay, so there's this dude who doesn't have a name, by the way. There's this dude
That's right, he doesn't.
Who goes for a sunny drive for the first 3 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
On a sloping camera angle for some reason. The film sort of goes through his daily life. He's driving into town. He stops in traffic. He's driving some more. He gets gas. He's driving some more. That's literally the first half hour of the film. And then he winds up at this diner and meets this girl that he seems to remember from his past or something. I don't remember. Really not that gripping of plot.
Yeah. If I recall, he walks in and the audio is like,
yeah.
no.
It's like it was recorded in the room itself without any microphones,
It's
just
like-
from the guy's camera.
It's like it was recorded in a submarine at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah. This movie's a little bit backwards in the way it's structured.
Yeah.
The characters, instead of having, it's like they have their own hardships, no hardships at all. They're getting everything they want constantly. He goes into work and makes the $1 million sale. He goes out with the girl immediately. Everything's happening for him. And then, within like the last half hour of the film, these terrible CGI birds come in and spit acid and explode on the town.
That's right, the bird's kamikaze.
Yep, they kamikaze.
You'll have to forgive me, I haven't seen the movie in a while, so a lot of this is going to be coming back to me.
Yeah. So I briefed myself on Wikipedia a little bit before coming over. Apparently, what is happening in the film,
Yes.
and there is subtle ties to it with the TV at the very start showing the news, melting ice caps, polar bears are going extinct.
It's a very ham-fisted
Yeah.
message that they try and throw at
Go
you.
environment.
Yeah.
And they meet the tree hugger later. The scientist talks about it. The birds are like this. The scientist, my favorite character.
He's the best.
The birds are like this because of global warming. They spit acid and explode because of global warming.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Thank you, my boy. Don't remember his first name. I know his last name because it's the same as the writer in BoJack Horseman. Nguyen or whatever.
Nguyen.
Yes.
Diane Nguyen.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is a recommendation. It doesn't belong on the Worst Ever podcast, but it's a great show. Okay, so Riley, let's discuss, okay?
Okay.
When you, because I know you watched not only the first movie but the second movie.
Yeah.
We're not really gonna get into the second movie because it's not as to me it's not as much of a masterpiece, but it is in its own right.
It is a masterpiece.
It's its own thing. When you first watched this movie, at what point were you like, this movie is the worst movie I've ever seen?
Within the first 10 seconds. When it panned in, the car was going down the road, I was like, oh, this is gonna be alright. As soon as it cuts to the inside of the car, the camera angle is tilted at 45 degrees. I don't know if they were going for like this practical, like, oh, it's an artsy effect. It looks awful. It looks
gotta get those Dutch angles in there, dude.
Oh yeah.
I think for me, it was as soon as I realized that that scene wasn't ending.
Yeah.
Like, because they follow him throughout his day pretty much before he goes to the restaurant and meets the girl. So it's like, you know, him driving to the gas station. He gets to the gas station, he fills up, and like you watch him filling up, and he leaves and he drives down the road for another few minutes.
He gets stuck in traffic. That's my favorite part. They film the main character getting stuck in traffic for like 5 minutes.
I feel like they literally were just like, "Hey, dude, drive here from your house."
Let's get some footage.
And and so he was thinking, he was like, "Oh, they're not going to use all of this. They're just going to take bits of it." Nope.
They used the entire.
They had to
footage.
pad the runtime. It was also, I think another point for me was when I realized that the birds don't show up until the last half hour. You get halfway through the movie and you're like, where?
I thought this was Birdemic.
This movie's called Birdemic. Where are the birds?
Yeah.
Comment briefly on the writing.
The writing?
The writing.
What writing? I can almost guarantee you... Actually, that's false. It's not all ad-libbed because the main character is a robot. He has zero emotion.
That's true.
It's as if he's reading straight off of a script.
Let's talk about him for a bit. He who shall not be named, literally isn't named.
Yeah.
So we can't name him if we wanted to. Because the way he talks, he's just kind of like, wow, that is. What's the scene? One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. It's not even like a memorable scene, but it's when they go to see the movie. They go to see An Inconvenient Truth, and they come out of it, and they're in the parking lot, and somebody's like, how was that? And he's like, it was great. An Inconvenient Truth. What a fantastic movie. Really made me think about the world and climate change and such. Like, it just literally just text to speech. Like, he doesn't. That's exactly how he says it. He was like, it was great. An Inconvenient Truth. Like,
yeah.
It's like.
Sounds like he's the android sent by Cyberlife.
It's fantastic. All of the acting. I want to talk about my actual favorite scene in the movie, though. Scene with the coat hangers.
Oh, yes. What a beautiful scene.
So it's for those who don't know, what are you doing here? Go watch the movie and then come back. They're in like this condo or whatever. They're in somebody's apartment.
Yeah.
I think it's his apartment. I can't remember. And then they are hiding away from all the birds. And for whatever reason, they decide they're eventually going to die if they just wait there. So they run outside. And the only thing they grab for weapons is coat hangers.
I think the dude just grabbed whatever was laying around his house.
And so there's a shot of the three of them standing in the parking lot just swinging at the air with these CG birds, and they're like
birds like trained to the camera.
And they're not like it's like a Snapchat filter. They aren't reacting to the swings or anything, and like they're not making it look like they're hitting anything. They're just going.
Movie.
It's fantastic. I love that scene so much.
I think my favorite scene is the ending scene. The unexplainable ending scene. They're fighting off the birds. The unnamed character goes down to catch some fish. They're talking to their children. Not their children, some random kids they found along the way.
That's right. They pick up two random kids.
And the birds inexplicably just fly off into the sunset. There's no reasoning behind it. They're getting all prepared for another fight, and they just fly off into the sunset.
Yeah, the disease is cured.
The disease is cured.
They stopped
somehow.
global warming.
They cured global warming. That's how they did it.
Do you? I always remember the scene with the gas when they leave the jerry can sitting in the middle of the road and drive off without it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we gotta get gas, and they drive off without the jerry can.
Yeah, they do this huge, and like that's not on purpose either.
No.
That's a total accident. But the whole like they make it this huge deal that they need gas, and so they finally get gas, and then they drive off without the jerry can. They screwed up the shot. It's like, how does this? Because the guy who made this, he made a couple other movies, didn't he?
Yeah, he made Birdemic 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Other than the other Birdemic movie he made. What else did he make?
I haven't even looked into his stuff.
I'm pretty sure he made one or two other movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the guy is just
a beauty.
And he has defended the movie too.
Yeah.
Like he's because like you know there's like Tommy Wiseau
Yeah.
and people like that who like eventually were like, yeah, the movie's pretty bad, but I can enjoy it for the fact that it makes people laugh. You know, but there's this guy, there's Neil Breen, these people who just like, you know, like, what's the word? There's these people that like intensely defend their movies and are like, you guys just don't get it.
They get behind it as much as they can.
Yeah, like they do not back down. But to be honest, I think that I think it's almost better in that case, at least if they keep making movies. Because, like, Tommy Wiseau makes stuff now trying to make it like The Room so bad that it's good. Whereas, like, you know, like Neil Breen just keeps making the same stuff saying nobody gets it.
Yeah,
and it's still funny because he's still taking himself seriously.
I mean, House That Drips Blood on Alex is a cult classic.
My favorite Neil Breen scene is that I can't believe you would kill yourself. I can't believe you would do this. Have you seen that
Breen
scene?
scene.
my favorite Breen scene. It's fantastic. So when did you see Birdemic? Were you like, did you jump on the hype train?
I jumped on the hype train. Yeah, right after. Not right after. I'd say the JonTron video came out, and I waited for a bit because I was like, whatever, it's another. And then I think a couple of years later, I was just like, oh, they're here, and I watched them both in one night.
Yeah, because I remember when that JonTron video came out, that sort of YouTube video that brought Birdemic into the public eye, and that was some of the hardest I'd laughed at that point in my life. That like I immediately I saw that video and I was like, I need to see this movie.
It's so much better when you actually see it.
Oh, I believe it.
It's like a student film almost.
See, but student films have like some sense of structure.
Yeah, they do.
This one that's like, man drives to grocery store and goes to restaurant and then meets woman and then he dates woman and they go to a karaoke bar and just hang out there for like an hour and nobody else is in the bar and like so much wrong with this movie.
I think my favorite thing about that movie is how varying the camera angles can get. Like, they tried to take a page out of every book for that.
Yeah.
Because there are some scenes where the camera angles, like the panning shot in the kitchen and like when he's eating his donut and coffee for breakfast or whatever, I think those are like okay shots. But the documentary shot on the grandma... like, come on with this. And then again with the one on the yeah, I just thought of that. It made me it was one of my favorite scenes. And then just the regular still shots too. They try to do, it's like they're trying to be a jack of all trades sort of.
Well, they're trying to be
shots.
so artsy with it and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work at all.
It's it's painful at points. It's like if Wes Anderson like was a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
And that's coming from somebody who doesn't like Wes Anderson. So I think it's really bad.
Oh boy.
Okay, what about talk a little bit about the girl, Riley. What do you think of the girl?
I think her acting was actually okay. She had a lot
Really?
of better than the dudes anyway.
Yeah,
And
that I'll give you.
When he's the only other comparison, you're like,
Everybody's better than him.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's
even
only,
the
like,
even
two
the
characters.
scientist dude.
The scientist is a brilliant actor.
Actually, yeah. Let's discuss the scientist, please, because
Oh.
that character is fantastic.
My favorite scene, not my favorite scene. I already discussed my favorite scene. The scene where the scientist comes out. And
Well, because they're literally just like going over a bridge, and he's
going
living
over a bridge,
there.
and he's chilling there with a shotgun and
Yeah.
a mask over his face.
He's living there like a troll,
Yeah.
guarding the bridge.
Uh,
And he's like, the birds are doing this because of climate change.
yeah,
I can't even remember what he says.
I don't either.
It's like an absolute gem, though.
Yeah. He is a great character. Adds so much to the plot, you know. You know an underrated character that added a billion things to the plot in this movie? The tree hugger they found in the forest for 5 seconds.
Yes. That guy is like chilling in the forest.
He's just chilling in the
And
woods.
they're like, don't you know the world is dying? It's Birdemic. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, but I live here anyway. And then he goes back into the woods. Like they
It's
never
'cause
see
of
him again.
climate change, man.
Yeah, every character they come across is like, the world, we're heating it up too fast.
Yeah.
Global warming is happening, and he's like, okay.
It's like they tried to subtly hand-fist a plot,
But
but they
no.
didn't know what subtly meant.
It's like it's so in your face the whole time. Like I'm fine with a movie having a message,
Yeah.
but like these ones always, it's like these bad ones are always like down your throat. Here's the message. And it's not even a good message. It's
Yeah.
just like it's
something-
they don't tell you how to fix the problem.
Yeah.
They don't like they just go like, "Hey, we're using fossil fuels."
Yeah.
And that made birds go crazy. And cuz the thing is, they don't learn anything because they're all like, "Man, the environment and stuff," and they're like, "Man, that's a real shame, but we can't stop it now because the birds are evil." But then the birds, they just cure
Yeah.
themselves.
It's time to go fishing as the birds
So-
fly off into the sunset.
Even if they were learning, like even if like they had somehow like, I would have been, it would have been more satisfying if even like the main guy like was like standing in front of like a trash can and a recycle bin, and he's got like a plastic bottle in his hand, and then he like looks up and he thinks, and it's like
he
he
sees the bird
he
flying
sees a
by.
bird fly
Yeah.
overhead, and he's like, and he puts it in the recycle bin. Like even that much
Yeah.
closure,
Would make any closure at all. Would have
any
made this
sort of
movie.
like, hey, this is how the problem was resolved, because instead it's just an ex machina of
like
like the birds are good now.
Yeah. I like that this movie is a hand-fisted plot about global warming being bad, but the entire plot of it is them trying to go get gas for their car.
And then they leave it behind.
Yeah,
That's
the
a
only
waste of
cohesive plot.
it's a waste of gas, a waste of fossil fuels, and that's not going to help the environment.
Waste of fossil fuels burn up in the atmosphere.
Because that's the other thing about the writing is they can't even like, because every story is supposed to have like the whale shape,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's supposed to like excitement, and then dip back down, give you some like exposition and stuff, and then the climax,
Yeah.
and then it comes back down.
And
In
the
this,
resolution.
it's like.
Yeah. It's like a heart monitor that just flatlined. Oh. Yeah.
At the very end, it shoots straight up. Like it's yeah, exactly. It's like a monitor that flatlined. It's and
a dead movie.
that accurately reflects how I felt inside upon watching this movie.
How
A heart
birds felt
a heart
because of the
monitor
environment.
that has flatlined. This movie fails on every basic level.
I think that I loved it so much because I'm a dude who like super enjoys bad movies. Like
Oh, me too.
Cat, The Room.
Me too. That's why I started this podcast.
Yeah. And then this movie, while I was watching it, I just couldn't stop laughing because like as you go further into it, it just keeps going with the stuff that it's doing wrong.
The whole time I was watching, I kept like being like, it can't get worse.
Yeah, yeah.
It
like,
can't.
I'm like, oh,
And
I
then it
expect
did.
I expect the scene to end fluently, and then it doesn't. And then he's in traffic for 20 minutes. And then the microphone cuts out. And then like, it just kept adding on. Ugh.
So funny.
To make just like a cohesively perfect movie.
But like the writing, the acting, the cinematography, the music.
The JPEG explosions.
That's right.
What more could I ask for in a movie?
They use like GIFs for the explosions in the background.
I think they got it from the same site they got the birds from.
Honestly, because the birds are literally like you would find them in a PowerPoint presentation in grade 4 of like
kid pigs, dude.
from Kid Pigs. Kid pigs, come on and play with Kid Pigs. Wow! You remember when you'd accidentally open that on the school
when
computers?
you're sitting in class and you click on it instead of Microsoft Word or something, and,
Yeah.
and like the entire room turns to you.
Yeah, because it would just be so loud. Kid Pigs! But yeah, anyway. Like, it's really, this movie is a marvel.
It is.
Not a Marvel movie, but this movie itself is a marvel.
I hope Marvel picks it up. Birdemic 3? I mean, come on.
Part of me would like to see
Yeah, like a really well done Birdemic.
Really, really well done Birdemic. But just like all the writing's the
same writing,
all the
same
acting's
script,
the
same plot.
same actors and everything. Just like the cinematography
Yeah.
is like incredible.
The beautiful CGI birds. But they still like crash into the ground and explode.
They're still kamikazeing
Yeah.
the society. Because we've talked on this podcast a lot. We've talked on this podcast before about how budget can affect how a movie is made.
Yeah. I was gonna talk about
And
that actually.
and that's always something that I've found. I kind of wonder, what would a big budget Birdemic look like, you know? Like, even if it had like the great actors,
Even if it was room quality, like,
because it's not even like there's the room.
yeah,
and then
the room
there's-
is like filmed nice and it has a cohesive plot. Birdemic is like nothing is going right.
It's an accurate statement. Literally nothing.
Yeah, because I guess Tommy Wiseau had the money for it. But
Well, and nobody knows how.
yeah. But this guy produced it in like less than $10,000. Like the entire movie.
Where did that money go?
I don't know, honestly. Like
He bought like a camera.
he bought like a camera. He didn't buy sound equipment, that's for sure. He hired like a dude who was probably an actual gas station owner.
He found a guy on the street. I was like, "Hey, buddy,
You
wanna
look like
be-
you could work in a gas station.
you want to be in a movie?
We're gonna make it the big bucks.
It's the money movie. I'll pay you $2."
I'll pay you 10 grand.
He gave all the money to the gas
Dude,
station guy.
Yeah, because he probably like knew everyone else who was acting in it.
That's what I wonder. Like, this seems like a kind of movie, but here's the thing, though. Okay, like, because this seems like the kind of movie where this guy just had this dream and grabbed a bunch of his friends and then recorded it, right? But that's what Napoleon Dynamite was.
Really?
Yeah. It was just a few guys on a college campus that were like, we want to, like, let's make a movie. And they made it. And
How-
those guys went on to make Nacho Libre,
Yeah.
which is another great movie. But, like, it was literally just a bunch of people off the campus that they were just like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
make a movie.
I mean, Napoleon Dynamite's a beautiful movie.
Exactly. So, like, how can you go from, like,
With 10,000 extra, like...
Yeah.
How do you go from that down to this with 10 grand extra?
it's nuts, Riley.
It's insane in the membrane, yo.
I need one more thing from you.
What do you need from me?
I need 3 more things from you. I lied. I need 2 final sentences of a statement on your thoughts on the movie, and or like if people should watch it, why it's so bad, yada yada yada.
You mean why it's so perfect?
That too.
Ugh.
And then I'll need a rating from you out of
5
10.
out of 5.
Out of 10.
Out of 10?
Out of 10.
All right.
I think we
So-
already know what his answer is, though, folks.
I think Birdemic is a beautiful movie. Anyone who hasn't seen it should go see it if you can find it. It's probably online. Like, I'm not gonna say illegally download it, but that's what I did.
Riley, don't do that.
I mean, I don't know where you can legally download it though.
Is it on iTunes?
I don't think so. Is it on iTunes? Is Birdemic Shock and Terror on iTunes?
I will add. I don't know.
Go
Maybe
download
it is.
Birdemic Shock and Terror on iTunes.
Purchase it legally.
Purchase it legally for $99.95. Support the content creator, Mr. Nguyen.
Nguyen.
I don't know if that's how it's pronounced.
You said it was the same as Diane Nguyen.
I don't know how her name is spelled. It just looked similar.
Okay. Now, give the rating, even though you already kind of gave it.
My rating for Birdemic Shock and Terror, I'd say, on a scale of how much I love that movie.
Yeah.
Like an 8 out of 10.
You changed it.
I said 5 out of 5. It's a joke.
Okay. 8 out of 10.
I feel like
Ladies and gentlemen, we got an 8 out of 10.
we got an 8 out of 10. I feel like there are better bad movies, but this one is up there with the greats.
That is fair. I will give you that. Yeah. I'd probably give it around an 8 out of 10 as well.
Yeah.
Riley, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks for watching.